is again a word like we discussed with digitalization and digitization, something very badly misunderstood. Frugal is sometimes people think it's just very simple but without quality. So, but to my understanding, frugal has nothing to do with quality, rather than you are just bringing a technology that is affordable and also unthinkable ways of innovative way of bringing that same way of using it. For example, I was seeing we are using umbrellas before, normally for summer or winter for raining. But then I was seeing once when I was going to India, I saw in a two-wheeler, somebody has made an umbrella fixing over, or there even the helmet into an umbrella, so that it does the dual job. I think fantastic, so innovative it was. It has nothing to do with the quality in that sense, rather than it was both together. So you throw some light on this frugal, and why it has come to that understanding that people think it is not of quality. Where is that real challenge?
I would show maybe a slide to illustrate my point at this juncture. If you look at the dictionary meaning, then frugal means living without waste, which is not costly, but it is being prudent with resources. So it's not about wasting resources. It's not about being extravagant, but it is about having something which is very useful. And in fact, if you look at it, it has its root in the Latin frugalis, which means useful, and it comes from fruit. It's something like a fruit, so which is very useful, which is very helpful. And what happened in the past is that in the post-World War era, what happened? There was a need felt in the Western world to say we need to keep growing, because many people connected the Great Depression in the United States in the 1930s with being frugal, because they said people were not consuming enough, so the economy was going down. So we need to make people consume more and more. So there was very deliberately something created against being frugal. While if you go in the past, look at the great philosophers like Adam Smith, like Ricardo, Marshall, they all were in favor of frugality. If you look into any spiritual thought, into any philosophy in India, in Jainism, in Hinduism, in fact, in all religions, so like across the world, frugality has been a great value, that you do not waste resources, be very careful in the use of resources. So, but it was given a twist in the past 40, 50 years that you should be consuming more and more. And people forgot that just consuming more and more cannot go on, because our planet, our Earth, does not have enough resources. It cannot go on. And it is something beautiful to be careful with resources. It's not about being stingy. You do not have to be stingy. And in the understanding of people like Adam Smith, frugality was the golden middle. It was not being stingy or miserly, and it was not being wasteful. And we forgot somewhere in between, and we started thinking frugal is just being cheap. And in fact, if you think about it, Western world, the term simple has become something negative. If you say someone is very simple, it's normally supposed to mean the person is not intelligent enough. But if you look at India, if you look at Japan, in the Asian cultures, simple was beautiful. Simple was something very nice. So frugal was given a notion as if frugal is not something great. But what we have seen and what we have proven in our research in the previous 5, 6, 10 years, that frugality can create wonderful solutions. You do not have to always think in terms of high tech or low tech. You have to think of being appropriate, solving a problem with appropriate means. And this is where frugal innovation helps. And that's why we also call it affordable excellence. We want to create excellent solutions, but in an affordable manner. And you might remember we defined affordability on multiple dimensions. Affordability should not be only about being financially affordable. It's not just about going on reducing the price of a good. I will share another screen with you so that our viewers can see what is meant by it. And I think that would be go on talking about it too. So affordability is not about the monetary capacity of a person to pay for it. What we also need is that a product or a solution is socially justifiable. Because what will happen if we are just reducing prices of goods and the consumption is going up and up and up in an irresponsible manner? Or suppose if the prices of illegal drugs are being reduced, so it does not help us. So a product has to be socially justifiable. It has to fit with the given infrastructure in the use context. So that otherwise, suppose you come up with a product, but for using that product, you need to invest again a lot of money just in order to use it. Suppose you come up with a product which necessitates, let's say, fixed line internet, and you do not have it in the rural areas, then people cannot use it. Or if they want to lay those lines, it will become very expensive. So it has to jig well with the infrastructure that is available, and it has to be in sync with the ecological sustainability. Because if it is creating unnecessary consumption, if it is wasting away resources, then it will not be affordable to the society. So we have to create a new understanding of what is affordable. And then when we say affordable excellence, we have to question the traditional paradigm of just going on creating more and more and more performance. We have to ask the question, what for? What is the right amount of performance that we need? So it is not about creating more and more technological complexity or to achieve the maximum possible technological performance. We have to rather find the right amount of performance that is required by a particular product. So excellence is about creating highly effective solutions in a resource efficient manner. And this is where frugal innovation comes into play. Because if we say frugal innovation is about creating Jugaad type of solutions, then it will not work in the long run. But what we can do is we can say, we want to create wonderful solutions which help people, which help the environment, and which help the society. So keeping all the stakeholders in mind.
Right. Fantastic. Thanks a lot for that really very simple way of explaining quite a complex thing. I think that's also argues very well with our dialogue. So I have few, when we are speaking, I was observing one thing is, I mean, when we were discussing sometime, it just stuck in my mind that you were telling that it's not about access for more rather than access for all, which you actually were telling recently that it's nothing about more rather than we have to go to the extent it should be accessible for all. That's also something. And also, what about the issues of patent? Because sometimes I think it's also an issue when we think about the frugal or even Jugaad or whatever it is, different things when we are telling about how this patent issue is so important, because there could be in a village somebody is using a technology, probably it is indigenous technology, how it is protected. It's a question, is there anything, a system that is over there? And I think after this, I would like to come to two parts. One is the ethical question of whole surrounding this, and the so-called generic drugs, which is also somehow coming into that. I will come back to the health system and how this whole digitalization is bringing that part with the ethical questions. But the first two things I would like you to shed some light on this so-called your mantra of access for all, or redefine the way of Frugal is looking at it, and the issue of copyrights and IPR and patents, how it is all going along with the indigenous technology or indigenous innovations and the inventions that has been going for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, yes, it's a very interesting question. I wish there would be an easy answer for that. But what we can see is we can observe two things. One is that the patent system is facing a lot of challenges, because what's happening is actually many small and medium-sized companies do not prefer to file for patents because they think it is not enforceable, it is maybe too expensive, and many times the idea gets copied even faster than without a patent, because once you file for a patent, all your invention is available online and then anyone around the world can copy it. So the patent system is itself under a lot of challenge. But the idea that has, or one idea which has grown tremendously in the past is that of open innovation, a collaborative form of innovation. And that is actually helping us much, much more. What's happening is people are coming together, they are developing new products, new ideas, and providing it in the open access to the extent possible. Of course, if you invest a lot of amount in your research and development work, somewhere it has to come back to you. So some parts will not be in the open access format, but to a large extent it is being done wherever feasible. So frugal innovations are very often a result of collaborative development across institutional, national, and corporate boundaries. So from different domains, from different countries, different corporate industries, people come together and create solutions. And that might also involve grassroots innovators, indigenous knowledge, and they should get a sufficient recognition for their work and for their knowledge. So this is happening. And I think we need to go along into this direction more. And one of the things that I sometimes believe we need to take care of in India is that we do not start trying to emulate the trodden innovation pathways of the West. How traditionally things were done here, it is not what we should be copying, because our context is different. We need to create different innovation pathways. And in fact, even here, the pathways are changing. So there is no much point into going for something which was created for a different context, which worked well in the past, but maybe now it's under challenge. So in India, I think our corporate houses, firms would do themselves a great favor if they were going more for collaboration with the grassroots innovators and indigenous knowledge and coming up with more inclusive pathways of innovation.